Today I'm having a pretty classic Chinese street food. Specifically, I think from the northern part of China, but I think they have it all over China. Um, the main form of this is called煎饼果子. However, what I'm having is a slightly different variation. But jian means to cook on a flat griddle, and bing means a pancake. So it's a type of pancake cooked on a flat griddle. I actually started eating already before I started filming, so like it's a kind of a wrap with a flat pancake. The way you cook the pancake is you kind of crack an egg onto a flat surface, onto the flat griddle, and then you pour the batter for the pancake on, and the egg and the pancake kind of cook together. And once the egg's cooked, you flip the whole thing over. And then, so that gives you like an egg on the pancake kind of thing. So that's going to be the inside of your pancake, of your wrap. And then you start putting toppings in it. Usually it'll be like lettuce, maybe some kind of sauce, some type of a meat like a sausage, or I got it with Chinese bacon, pagan. And then the classic thing to have inside of it is the guozi. So guozi literally means fruit, but in this case, it's sort of a slang term for another type of dish or another type of Chinese thing called a youtiao. Youtiao is often called a Chinese donut. It's not a sweet thing usually, but it's cooked a similar way to a donut. It's a batter, a dough that's deep fried. And so you get this crispy outside, sort of light and fluffy inside. They're not sweetened usually. They're just eaten plain, often with soy milk. And it's usually a long stick kind of thing. Yo means oil, and tiao means long, thin stick. So it's an oil stick. So they'll put that inside of it. That's the sort of more southern variation of it. Not super southern. I'm not sure where this. I think this might originate from Shandong, but I'm not certain about that. But the original traditional way of doing it is with that youtiao or guozi. So that's where the name comes from. But often in the north, that gets replaced with a more flat, crunchy, almost cracker-like thing called a baocui. Which just means a crispy fritter kind of thing. Cui means crispy, and bao means like thin and light, and so like bao cui or means like a thin, crispy thing. This one has that in it. It's kind of hard to find it, and it. The thing with it, though, is that because the ingredients, the filling, tend to be pretty wet, the crispy fritter ends up being all not crispy anymore. If you get it very fresh, if you eat it, it's a street food. If you get it at the shop and eat it immediately, it'll be crispy on the inside. When you get it delivered, like I did, I was driving around town for a half hour or whatever, so it gets soggy. But it still has a pretty good flavor. Similar flavor to in the West, you can get those like at Chinese restaurants. They'll have those fried noodles that come with soup usually. So they're kind of fat, not the really thin round ones, but the sort of flatter deep fried noodles that like you'll get like some soup or something, and then they'll have some little fried noodle things on the side. It's a very similar flavor to that. I think it's the same dough. Just this is a sheet of it instead of like individual cut up noodles. and it's not fried to puff up like that. It's just cooked so it's crispy and thin. So they put that in, and then that one you can still call a煎饼果子, even though it doesn't have the 果子 part, or you can just call it a 煎饼. And then the one I got is even a slight variation on that, where they're calling it, the restaurant that I got it from calls it a Western style 煎饼. So xi means Western and shi means style. So 西式煎饼. And the reason they do that is because the one I got specifically has bacon. Well, it doesn't have real bacon. It has Chinese bacon, which is more like a Spam kind of thing. It's right. It's a processed food that's in sheets like bacon and cut up into strips like bacon. But in Chinese they call that pagan, which is just a loan word for bacon. And then it's also got some egg and cheese. So that's the unusual thing in this one. They put cheese in it. And then I also got it with a chicken sort of cutlet. That's the, so you can see that's this red thing. That is they call it Orleans style chicken. I've mentioned this several times before. I don't know where they got the idea that this is from New Orleans. It's, as far as I know, it's not. But in Chinese, it's called Orleans jipai. So Orleans chicken cutlet. The pancake has egg cooked onto it. I also got them to put just an actual fried egg in it as well. Jiandan. So that's kind of the stuff I got in it. This is very classic kind of, it takes like 3 to 5 minutes for them to cook it on the street. So like it's almost always like a street stall kind of thing. And you just get it. I got it delivered. Even getting it delivery, the delivery driver probably went to a little street stall and picked it up from there. It's very unlikely that it was actually made in a restaurant. But it's a really good kind of, it's pretty filling. It's got some lettuce in it that gives it kind of a refreshing feeling. The little crispy fritter thing is quite a nice little contrast of textures and adds a little interesting flavor. And then this one has like some kind of a bit of a spicy garlicky sauce in it. A lot of times they put mayonnaise in it. I don't really like mayonnaise, so I told them not to put it in this one. But that's a pretty common thing to put in this as well. And you can get these kind of things all over China. This was one of the first things I ever ate when I came to China. When I first got here, I was actually down in Shanghai. I flew into Shanghai and was there for a few days before I came up to Harbin. And I walked right outside my hotel door. There was a little stall selling this, and I was like, oh, I guess I could eat this. So it's like, this is actually one of the first foods I ever ate in China. I had no idea what it was. I just kind of walked up and was like, I want something. And he just made something and gave it to me. And, it's a pretty easy thing that you don't really need to be able to communicate because they make the same thing. And he basically, I couldn't speak any Chinese then. So like, I just stood there and he like started making it. And then all the items that he could put in, he just held it up and was like, yes or no. Like he held up the mayonnaise and it was like, yes or no. And he held up like an egg and said, yes or no. So like, it's got lots of it's just the same sort of preparation with just different ingredients. So like, he was able to just like show me all the ingredients and I just picked the ones I wanted and he put it in. And so that was a pretty good memory I have of like literally my first day in China. I think that was actually the first food that I bought here. I think I might have had some snacks from on the airplane or something that I ate. after getting here, but that was the first food that I actually bought. And I'm still eating it now. It's still a really good dish. It is better if you get it at the little shop, but I'm working from home today, so I needed to get delivery. So just it's still good delivery. It's a really good kind of quick, easy. It's excellent for a lunch kind of food. It's filling enough that you'll feel full, but not so filling that you are in like a food coma and feel like you need to take a nap or anything. It's the perfect kind of lunch size. So that's it. This is a variation on 煎饼果子, classic Chinese street food wrap.